Hello, good evening. And today I'm questions to discuss our topic. Hesitate to ask me questions. Don't hesitate to comment. And after giving you some information, I will for sure answer your questions. So today we discuss the first trip of the couple of newly born couple who were dating before, and it will be their first trip together somewhere, first travel experience. And this step is quite an important. If we talk about international dating experience, usually couples meet first in the city of girl, in the city of Ukraine, or in the country of girl. Usually, men come several times here to meet a woman, to date with her, to visit different places inside the city, to talk with her about important issues, and so on. Hello, Solomon. It is the place where a girl feels safe. It's her own city, and usually it's more comfortable for girls to meet in their own place for the first dates. Sometimes it happens that new couple can go together to some another city like Kiev, for example, or Kharkov, just for Lviv, just for a little trip together. But usually, in 98% of cases, men come to the city of girl, and he comes several times, several months, until they decide to travel somewhere else. And usually, I highly recommend. I recommend a lot people before making plans to get married to have a common trip somewhere at least once to make sure they are compatible enough. Why is it so important? First of all, a trip together can be as well as joy, as well it can be like a trial. And because during this time, if you didn't live together yet, it gives you the opportunity to see how you live usually, what is your usual routine, what is your usual schedule, how when you get accustomed to get up, when she wakes up, and if you have similar habits in it. Of course, it's not disaster if she likes to get up early and you don't like to get up late. Anyway, it can have bring some difficulties, some not comfortable situations, and again, in a way, how you solve it, it's also possible to see if you are compatible enough, if you are both ready for relationships, if you are ready for compromises, and so on. And it's very important to is the order in which you accustomed to live when you got accustomed to get up, which way you got accustomed to make your things lay in your room, in how neat you are while you are in bath, and so on, because there are many routine details, but they are quite important because everything happens on a regular way then if you get stay together, and some things can irritate your half, or she can irritate you. And again, it's impossible to see all the advantages and disadvantages of behavior of your second half, and to see how you can solve it. For example, you can discuss some issues. You can tell her, okay, please don't do that because I don't really like it, if you don't mind, and so on. Again, you should tell it in a very mild manner, in a very caring way. And you see which way she reacts to this. Because her reaction, how much she is ready to be changing her behavior a little bit for sake of you, also can tell you a lot. So very important. It is a financial question when you decide to travel somewhere. When just friends travel somewhere, they usually share expenses in our country, and I guess in US, in Europe, European country too. But if we talk about a trip of women and men, especially women from our country, from Ukraine, usually men pays all the expenses connected with the trips. But again, everything should be adequate because, for example, I had the case. It happened not in our agency, but some colleague told me that men paid for everything, for a good trip, for expensive trip, But woman returned unhappy from this trip because he didn't give her money for drugstore, and she didn't get money from him for some little souvenirs, because she thought, she expressed it to her agency, that men should pay for everything, including little magnets. But it's not. It's already not adequate behavior, and not so right in relationships. Of course, this couple split up, and that's it. As men, you pay for your trip together, but of course there are different people, and I think it can happen that you can have a different agreement about trip. Maybe she will be ready to pay 50%. Again, depends just on you, on your couple. I'm telling about the most of people here, most of couples, how they do things, but you decide for yourself, of course. And if a woman is really serious, she will consider your how much you are ready to spend for this trip, and she won't choose the most expensive resort in the world, for sure. So you should take a very joint decision where you want to travel, when you want to travel, and so on. Because again, there are many different people, and I heard about some cases, and we even have a joke now in Ukraine, like a little picture, and it's written here: guess the way how women from Mariupol, Melitopol, and other little towns can travel to Dubai regularly. So you can understand which way. So if you have really relationships, she's really important to you and you are important to her, you will most probably decide together. She won't insist on any specific resort. She won't insist on the most expensive resort, at any rate. So you will see how she behaves in the process of choosing the trip, to how where she's ready to pay for, at least for her tea or your tea together, and so on. Some little things she should make some input too. Yeah, it doesn't mean that if you are a man, you should pay in every single situation, even if it costs just 1 cent. It's not fair. Our girls, most of my clients who came here to Odessa made sure that we don't have that bad life here. Our city, at least, it's very well developed. There are many beautiful cars, and things are not so cheap. And some of women, they make some good money, not millionaires maybe, but they can live good life. So of course they can allow a tea of coffee, or tea, cup of tea. So what is important during this trip? It is the time when you are staying just together, without kids, without parents, without anyone. Plus, you are staying together 24 hours per day. So you have a perfect situation now to explore her habits, how she behaves, how she is ready to listen to you, and so on. On the one hand, we should adapt to each other, of course, to listen to each other, to make other people to feel comfortable. On the other hand, don't do it too much when you forget about your own wishes. So the task of this time is to adapt your life to each other, your life schedule to each other, and it's quite an important to see how which type of rest you prefer. Maybe someone of you is more active and getting up early and trying going to swim a lot and so on, and the other prefers to stay in bed and sleep a lot and not so active in sport, for example. It can be not a big problem, but it's a kind of difference between you. Plus, it is the time when you explore each other's desires. So when you have a usual regime of life, when you are working, or when you come here and she's combining your meetings with working, being tired sometimes, and so on, being in a trip together, you enjoy each other, you enjoy each other company all the time, you have time free of work, and you just put 100% of your attention to each other. So it's perfect time to explore your sexual desires too, to explore each other, to feel each other in a different way, in a better way. And from this time, from your first trip together, time starts when you really know who is next to you, and maybe this beautiful experience of being together so much, being so close, and maybe having perfect sex in your life, you will remember this trip for many years ahead. And it's a very resourceful situation. For example, when you in the future you have a common life, you have different times. Sometimes you remember your first trip together and how perfect it was, how wonderful it was, and how much you enjoyed each other. And it will give an additional energy and additional resource to your current relationships. And in some situations, it can even help to relationships to develop, to return to your feelings in that moment in the past that you spent together. As I told you, there can be temptation of being perfect for each other, to try to be a perfect man and or perfect woman while traveling together. But when you have many days like that, at least 7, 10, it's impossible to stay perfect all the time. And after all, each person turns into real her or into real him. And again, it's good for relationships, because after this trip, you can decide if you are match, a real match, and you want to continue, or or you rather prefer to find someone else. So what is else important? I want to add some stories from practice of traveling together of men and women. And meanwhile, you can ask your questions as always, and I will read it after I finish. So once we had a couple who went together for a trip. They planned it a lot in advance, but again, it wasn't stable couple yet. They dated several, maybe they saw each other maybe several times, several days, and they talked a lot on Viber. Then they decided to travel together. And it turned to full disaster, because she returned so unhappy from this trip. He also, because what happened, it's what I told about routine things. She likes things to be neat. She likes the room to be clean and neat too. And she was shocked, and she even sent me a video where she showed me how he threw his things everywhere in the room, how awful it was, and so on. So she was so shocked, so angry, so emotional telling about this. So from my point of view, it's not the biggest problem that can happen in a trip. Maybe you don't like it, you can tell a person about it, but she was shocked, and it wasn't for her. Also, she didn't like that when they were traveling together, they were staying in one room. He had his own plan. If he wanted to go to nightclub in the night, he went even without her, and so on. Of course, it's not about being a couple, but again, it could be happen because before they lost the connection, and he understood that there is no chance for normal relationships, and just decided to have fun. Also, she complained about him drinking alcohol too much from her point of view, and so on. He was more short when he described their experience. Anyway, he didn't like this travel together, and after it, they split up. So you see, this time together is very important, and I advise it to happen during the first year of your dates. To spend if you can't travel far from here, or you don't have big budget for this, and so on, you can even make some trip in Ukraine, to go to some city together, to spend a week together and see what happens. So now let me read the questions and answer them and comments. So thank you, Solomon. I love yellow. It's my favorite color. Solomon writes, yes, but to meet in the ladies' cities where she feels comfortable. Also, I hear many Ukrainian ladies like trip to Egypt or Turkey. I would say yes, they like, because it's not that expensive as other countries. And I heard, yes, for some couples, it can be a good place to meet, somewhere in the middle. And it's easy for us to travel to these countries for Ukrainians. So it can be a good variant too. But for the first meeting, yes, I advise to meet in this city of Go. In my country, with some couples, they move to somewhere rented to see if they can. Yeah, it's perfect. Perfect decision, Solomon. Yes, to live together somewhere for some time before getting married and before buying property together, of course. Yes, Solomon, fully. I like your comments. You're fully right. Yes, you pay the most expenses. Of course, she should pay at least for little things in this stream. Maybe to buy something for you too. Little things, yeah, because as we say, no men, no women like cheap people. So it's important as well as woman estimates your level of being able to provide the family in the future and provide her. As well, you estimate her behavior and her attitude in different situations. And I had so many times that even if lady makes some little things for a man or buy something to him, very little, smart, cute, it's so pleasant for men usually to see it, and they are so grateful so much from even for even small tokens of your attention and of your care, of your being affectionate. Yeah, probably Solomon, you are talking now about this story. Yes, it's not so. It was not so good at all. But the positive side of this is that they understood about not being a match quite quickly. They didn't spend 1 year dating and then disaster. They saw each other several times and just went to trip, and that's all. Paris, thank you a lot. Yes, Solomon, you're giving comment about the story. Yeah, but I think that everything has a reason. Of course, if he already felt there is no chemistry, and they argued before, maybe these relationships weren't so important for him anymore too, and he just wanted to have a good rest together or separately. But you are right, Solomon. Yes, if you would appreciate their relationships, I think he shouldn't do it for sure. So tell me, please, dears, if you had some experience of traveling with your woman, not Ukrainian even, maybe woman from your own country, and how it was, how you felt, and which conclusions did you make after this trip together? Now, the positive from these stories, now they can grow and they know what kind of person they are looking for in the future. Yeah, yeah, Solomon, yeah. So you can be a coach already too. You're giving so precise comments always on my videos. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, for sure. And this is what I tell to my clients, both men and women, to go to different dates, to to meet new people, to communicate. Don't make the decision after looking at her picture or at his picture. I'm going to get married him, or I'm not going, because the very experience of going to dates, flirting, talking, knowing another person, becoming better and better in dating life, on dating stage, it's very important and it's very useful. I think it's not so possible to meet a right match, right, the person from the first date where you went. It's not impossible, or it happens very, very rarely. Like it happened with my grandmother. My mother told me when the first time she went to a cinema and she was allowed to do it by her parents. She met my grandfather right away and they got married. But I think these things happen not so quickly, not so often. So I'm waiting for your other questions, for more of your comments. Maybe you have some new topic for our next live stream that could be interesting for you to discuss on the next live stream. I'm sorry, I can't. I don't make regular live streams anymore so often as before. In COVID times, there is a lot of work, and I'm not always in time to do these meetings. not always having just enough energy for this after working day, but I do my best. And I think that when you visit these live streams, you get something useful for you. And I'm happy when you write your comments, your questions, and we can discuss things together, not just I'm talking alone. By the way, the last week we were taking part in a forum of Superwoman. It is a forum for active and successful and beautiful women in Ukraine, in Odessa, and they make this forum in all big cities of Ukraine, where successful women share their experience. They told about their professions, their family life, the balance in life, and we were taking part in it like partnering partners. So we are promoting our company, our matchmaking service among this type of women, attracting more. Of course, there are more women applying now. So we strive to have quality base for quality base of women in our agency. Yeah, there is a question from Parish. Thank you. Didn't two women from countryside come to prime agency for marriage? I mean, widows or divorcing. It happens very, very rarely. I would say not countryside, but little towns. It can happen. There are the ways that they can come to us. They go from countryside to Odessa or to other big cities to get education, higher education. They enter university, and then they start to live in our city, and then they apply to us. So it's not direct way from countryside to us, but through the Odessa or other big cities, they can come to us too. Yes, but if we talk about women from countryside who are living there in countryside, having simple professions, no, we don't have this type of women. By the way, recently I started a new program for men because most of you know that most of our packages they were starting from $2,000 and above. Now we have a new type of membership. It's like $100 for 2 months and then $80 per month with special short program, but it still allows you to meet new people. And I have partnership with many agencies in Ukraine, and they are taking part in this program. So not only my girls from my agency will take part in this program, but also women from different agencies. So if you are interested, contact me after the live stream, and I will send you the program, what it includes, and how useful it can be for you. Because if before we were more aiming more successful men all the time, in sense of also being able to pay and so on, later I understood we should have a proposal for every type or every segment of our target audience. And I know many wonderful people, absolutely wonderful men and women. They're not so rich, they're not so successful in business, but they are wonderful like people. They can't pay a lot, but they still want the relationships. They want serious relationships. They want family. And I appreciate people when they trust to us and when they come to us with this desire. And now we have a solution, also financial, organizational solution for them to help in their aim. The same is about girls. There are different type of girls too. Some are very beautiful, some very smart, and they like models, maybe very, very beautiful. Of course, they are looking for more successful men, but also we have many just pretty, simple women, and they are looking for just right man without a lot of requirements to him. So you can try it if you want. I'm testing it. I'm impatient to see the results. So I thought that it is a good way, because this way we will have more dates. We will arrange more dates between people, and eventually it will lead to more people. Because if you say, for example, out of 100 people, 10% can pay a lot, and they are successful in their business, they can allow this type of service. But also there are the rest of people who still want the relationships, but they can't allow these programs. But now you can try. Solomon, Maybe you should go live every 2 weeks instead of every week to make it easier for yourself. And I enjoyed your video from your TV interview. Oh, thank you that you are watching my channel. Yes, I was thinking about it too. Maybe to do it at least once per 2 weeks, but do instead of disappearing for months or more. Because when I try to do something a lot, and I stop enjoy, and I start to be tired, then I stop everything at all. I think like many people. So thank you for advice. Maybe I will do that. Hi John, I'm happy to read your comment. I wrote you. I saw something happened you didn't answer. So thank you for listening to me tonight. Thank you, my dears, my faithful guests. You are very often with me, almost every live stream, especially Solomon, always with me for more than 1 year already. I guess I should give you some gift already for being so faithful and for being so active every time where I go live. John, hello, talking to you? No, not yet. I just saw your message. Parish, thank you a lot for your motivating words, for your encouraging words. I'm just thinking about new topics which are interesting for you. Please write me new ideas that are important for you. I don't want to take some topics from another channels like this, because I know I have my specific, only mine type of audience, and I enjoy talking to you. And I know that every matchmaker, every coach, every psychologist attracts his specific type of audience. And you are my audience, and I'm interested to know what exactly is interesting for you to discuss or to know from me. Thank you. So many warm words from you, warm comments. So pleasant. You can't imagine. Solomon. So thank you for a new topic. I'm writing it down to have for the next week or in 2 weeks probably. By the way, dears, do you like the idea? I was thinking about inviting some of my lady clients to the live stream and making live stream together. Maybe we can make a series of such videos, like inviting 20 years old girl, then inviting 35 years old girl, then 45, then 50, for example. And this way you can ask the questions, different women with different background information, what they expect from foreign men, what they expect from the relationships, and it will be like direct talk, and I will translate. If the lady client will be very talkative, very sociable, probably I will just translate and you ask your questions. So Solomon, thank you for the topic. I write it down. And we will continue. Thank you for supporting the idea. Wonderful. Okay, dear. So I enjoyed talking to you a little bit tonight. I need to go. It's late already. And I will see you next week or in 2 weeks. I hope I will put announcement again in advance about our new time together, our new conversation. Prepare your questions, prepare new topics. I will be really grateful to you for this, because as soon as I've been working in this field for 17 years old, sometimes I think that this topic is so clear, there is no need to explain it. Another topic is so clear, everyone understands it. But then when I talk with the clients, sometimes this is a very new information for them, and they are grateful that I gave them some type of advice, some part of advice. But for me, sometimes it's not obvious that I should discuss this topic, because it's so understandable for me, just being so experienced in my field. I guess the same happens in your field of activity, in your job, when you do something and you think some things are so understandable, so obvious, but for other people, they're not. Yeah, goodbye to everyone. Have a good night, good day, good morning, depending on your country, your city. And thank you for coming. Thank you for your kind, supporting words. Bye bye. Thank you, John, for returning. Goodbye.